And hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 9 of OSAS, Week 4, the final qualifying week in this season's OSAS. And I'm here with Brando B2, and we are taking this to Inky's Splash Zone. What are your thoughts on this map?
I can't believe they would do this to the competitors. But in all seriousness, Iki's, it can be fun. I have a love-hate relationship with it. But I think it's a real snowball map. So I think each goalie for Rasmus Little Helpers and for Cutie Patooties are basically just gonna either fight for their lives to keep their barrier up, or just play heavily aggressive just to get that first barrier, just to kind of get that Hydro Pump cannon on their side. As we see a Juno Rasmus ban, it looks like.
Juno Rasmus ban. I think Rasmus on the side of Cutie Patooties, banning out Roses, and Juno, I think, just out for Doggitos, I think, because Doggitos does play a nasty Juno here, as Captain Spittle locks in Asher, Takoyaki Bird with the Maka, Rose with the Era, and I think on the other side, it's Doggitos with the Aimi, Torin on the Dubu, and hopefully a Brawler comes up on the side of Ultra Dre, as they're known as the solo comp here who plays both midfield and Brawler.
And Takoyaki hovering between Mako and Rasmus, decides to lock in Rasmus. And on the side of Cutie Patootie, looks like we do lock in a Zentaro Brawler going into this. Any thoughts on which team comp kind of looks more favorable here?
Team comp wise, I feel like PDBTDs are a little bit more favored just because Dubu is able to lock it down. Our starting awakenings here are Team Player and the Timeless Creator here, both pretty good in general. And we start off here with some action going on, no ults up yet, but stoppage of the core means that a little bit of pressure has been got onto Rasmus Little Helpers, but nothing too crazy yet.
Yep, and I do agree the Dubu BN will lock it down, but that Kai, especially once they get their ult, get that kind of ranged Giga Blast up, is going to be able to help his forwards push a lot more, but there we kind of see just kind of gets caught off guard a little bit between the Aimi and the Zentaro, and Cutie Patooties gets that first Hydro Cannon, but not quite able to score.
Not quite able to score, but they still have a barrier up, and the Dubu really locking it down means that nothing on the Rasmus Little Helpers has a great side going on, as they're getting a lot of pressure in, as Ultra Dre has his flip up, ready to use it, not really in position as Dubu misses his strike, and now both barriers are gone for both teams, and Rasmus Little Helpers will have their Aqua Cannon up, but an Ultra Dre flip and dash will scare the first points for Cutie Patooties.
Ultra J doing a great job just kind of like dribbling up. They had their secondary up, they had the flip up, and really timing it really well to just kind of basically secure that gold, not giving Takoyaki too many options out of that.
And Ultra Dre both, and I kind of do agree with the amount of, well, whatever you said there, pressure-wise, but again, Takoyaki Burb on the Kai, probably could have taken the Mako here, but doesn't really matter now as they've already selected it. But Doggitos and Ultra Dre are both playing a really good game so far. Two points scored for Cutie Patooties means that they're looking really, really good here, as on the energy side as well, they also have a lot of flips up coming up at least.
Yep. Dubu looking a little low, but does have that energy burst and not too much damage on the side of Rasmus the Little Helpers. So, yeah, able to get fully back. No worries there. Not a lot of damage threat going towards Cutie Patooties. But a nice KO from the Era ult on the side of Rasmus Little Helpers. They do drop the barrier, but can they take advantage of this striker advantage?
The striker advantage will mean that Dubu will have to burn his flip here, and Captain Spittle almost with an ult flip, and he gets two! Oh my god, they just walk right in. And that means Takoyaki's Burbs all alone, and Ultra J and Doggitos shove it in for their first set so far. It might have been a misplay, I think, as they just as they both walk in, and Ultra being the MVP of the semis, that is not looking good as his first draft awakening comes.
Yeah, I think Caps Middle just kind of got a little too greedy, thinking they could Asher stuff it through that Hydro Pump, but we do see a Super Surge coming up on the Zentaro, so Zentaro loves that dash range, and Super Surge with that extra damage. I mean, we saw a double KO there from the Hydro Pump, but Zentaro probably going to be able to do a lot of damage sitting here.
Yeah, Zentaro not picking up Perfect Form and opting for the Supercharge is interesting. I think he just wants to cover more ground since this map isn't really about getting more control of it. Well, getting more control of it by having a dash awakening up, and also means that you'll also be doing more damage as they're really trying to take their time here as Dubu walks up and is now indeed pressuring the core here.
Yeah, Takoyaki trying to clear through that Aimi turret, not really a play, and Ultra J is able to just Zentaro dash it in and just second strike.
Which actually means a lot here, as they're coming up really, really high here, and Rasmus' little Hypers has to find something here. Captain Smiddle with Perfect Form means that he has to invest, well, not invest more, but he has to find more value with his ult, as ulting there kind of just puts it into a losing position, sort of, as the Dupe is able to defend her really, really well, and a winning strike where it means that core control is back on the side of PGP2Ds here, but core control doesn't really matter if you're able to get that first barrier, and with the Hydro Pump coming online.
Yep. And Takoyaki does pop that Hydro Pump. Cutie Patooties pops theirs in return, and just able to get more value out of it. Rasmus Little Helpers just they're not able to get the core onto Cutie Patooties side of the field enough for Cap Smiddles to do anything. And the few times that Cap Smiddles does get it, they just can't maintain the possession of it. Either Dubu just winning the strike wars with the logs, and just not able to hold possession long enough for their midfield to come up and actually help them get around all these Dubu abilities.
Yeah, and these Dubu abilities do matter a lot, as he was kind of talking there. And another set was secured here. Zentaro, again, being the MVP here, I think he might opt for the fight or flight, because, again, he's going for these picks where, well, he's going for these awakening drafts where he wants to cover more ground rather than let Ivy have it. Ivy doesn't have, well, since it was the team player and I think Timeless wasn't taken on Ivy, which means that she's able to have a little bit more quick control. And since not Rasmus, but since Tara does take fight or flight here, means that he's able to cover a lot more ground and again add more pressure, because pressure is obviously a really good thing.
Yeah, and we do see a Deadeye pickup on Dubu. Yeah, they have Strike Shot and Missile Prop. And the only other options were, I believe, Spark of Power and Spark of Speed. So not a good options, but I think a little bit of speed would actually help them a bit more than that Deadeye.
And Doggitos, with his primary, does secure the barrier, and now even the off cannon is needed, as Ultra Trade just shoves it right in again. As maybe the Mako pick wasn't a good idea after all. I kind of keep referring back to it, but Takoyaki Berg isn't really able to find a lot of these passing opportunities back to their forward, as they're kind of just clumped up together and trying to find something out of their way to get the core moving. But the core just walking to open space means that nothing really happening is going on, and nothing happening is really good for QDPQs, as they're able to return their cooldowns and be able to shove it in yet again, as Ultra Dre finds the ROA dash right into Takoyaki Burp, stunning them, and this brings it up to match point.
Yeah, on the offensive, we're just seeing a lot of good plays between Doggitos and Ultra J, really working together, getting the passes, throwing Kai out of position, getting a KO on the Asher right there with the glitch pop. Whereas it seems like Rasmus Little Helpers have been trying to just feed the core to Cap Smiddles, but not getting anything from it.
Yeah, and Cap Smiddle not getting the core means that he's still stuck at level 2, and getting KO'd there isn't really good, as Ultra Tray with the dash misses the Hemaisno no Valley inside with the core flip, and it's back on the side of Rasmus Little Helpers in terms of players and the energy here, as Takoyaki Burp and Rose both have a flip up. Ready to commit here. Rose flips up, waits out Torrens Dubu's flip here, and a strike war into the primary wins them their first point here, and this could be a turning point here. Captain Smiddle reaching level 4 and having a little bit more stagger to stay alive, and Takoyaki Burp still having their flip up.
Yeah, and in that draft, Cap Smiddles did pick up Demolitionist, giving Asher a little bit more size, hopefully helping them win some of those strike wars against the Dubu, who just kind of has that natural size advantage. And Cap Smiddle's getting really close to flip, kind of gonna have to work for it. but not a lot of energy on the side of Rasmus Little Helpers here. But even though Casmiddle's able to get that barrier down, but Takoyaki's still looking pretty low.
Takoyaki Burb with no energy and almost with nothing. Doesn't matter as Captain Spittle finds the path footer into Dubu, winning out the interaction there and securing point 2 here. We might be looking for a reverse sweep on the set here as Captain Spittle almost with core flip up. We'll have to battle against Dogitos to see who gets their core flip up first.
Yeah. And Caps Middles in this fifth set here, or not fifth set, third set, doing a lot better job just confirming once the core gets to them, like working it down there and finding themselves in a position to actually like challenge the Dubu. But unfortunately, that Dubu stun does kind of win out there and gets a core clear.
And the interaction, the interaction taken does mean that Ultra Dre does get the barrier and finds the KO for the goal here. You were mentioning earlier that losing interactions was really important, especially with Captain Spittle, like not really getting anything done and getting stunned by Dubu. I think that's like the opportunity to take on a 1v1 is like really necessary, just because Dubu is able to take on that 1v1 and win ultimately. And it did prove out to work, as not really a lot of redirects on the side of Rasmus's Little Helpers here, as only one person got above 50 redirects.
Yeah, and like you were talking, kind of talking like things to pick up from, or go back, watch these VODs, and kind of pick up. And one thing you start seeing, especially as like better players, higher elos, more seasoned, is like the evade striking for goalies, specifically going against like a stuffing style forward. But especially going against a Dubu that does kind of have that roll stun, learning evade strike as a forward, very valuable skill to pick up. And yeah, again, Dubu can just be, like we said going into this, Dubu just has much more lock it down potential. And I think between that and just the synergy between Dogitos and Ultra J moving it around, just kind of overwhelmed Rasmus's Little Helpers.
Rasmus's Little Helpers did get overrun here, bringing them 0-1 here, and Cutie Patootie is up with a great start, 1-0 here, as honestly, this team, like, I just want to speak a little bit more for the team before anything else happens, but this team is going to be like interesting to look at, just because it's a team that has been playing since, I think, Assassin's 9 season, like week 1, but they were playing really, really well, and they made it before to the brackets. So yeah, pretty good team. And yeah, anything else to say?
I don't believe so. So with that, we'll take a short break and get ready for round 2, which I believe is sending us to Demon Days.
Love you.
Hello and welcome back to round 2 of OSAS 9 week 4. And looks like we are seeing a Chikara Space Train versus Xbox Record That going to Demon Days. Anything you're looking forward to, Kiriken?
I mean, I'm looking to see damage, and more damage. As you know, Demon Days is just that one map where everyone's like, "Oh, I have to play damage comp into this. I hate this game." And
Yeah.
what's looking pretty really so far as Shiku, Swati, and Udnar. They're a good team. I think you're a Chikara fan yourself. So
Yep, I've gone against them. I know at least once, maybe a few times. I believe it was on an AtLab. And yeah, they can be pretty good. But Hateen's and Taro getting taken from them. Looks like they were kind of going to a kind of a Bite Breakers almost damage comp. But we do see an Aimi midfield. I'm not sure what Hateen has. I believe they have an Asher in their pocket. And it looks like they are going, okay. Looks like they're going to bust out the Asher. Nope.
no,
Going back to the X. I mean, if you're going to go damage.
Damage is damage. And on the other side, we haven't talked about them a lot, but it's Xbox Record that recently I've heard that last week they didn't find much presence with Suplex as their brawler, so they switched it up to Sukuna being their brawler and then Gorf being their midfield here. As we load into the game here, Grasso on the Rasmus, Zatara on Sukuna, and Gorf on Device. As we look at Awakenings here, everyone from Space Train taking Hotshot.
And we do see specifically that hot shot on the Juno. Kind of surprised Xbox Record that did not either ban the Juno or take it with a hot shot start. But looks like it doesn't matter. Just Gorf and Tsukune just pushing forward, collapsing in, and taking that barrier pretty quick in the first 10 seconds.
And taking that barrier is very important, as now Udnar has nothing to his name here, as Sukuna is getting a little bit frisky here. That ult means that he gets the goal here. And I want to speak about not the Awakenings, but the gear state he took. They're all on double siphoning here, as the other team goes for double slick kicks here. I don't think they're actually opting to play damage comp into this, but Karasu, Gorf, and Sukuna definitely want that damage portion.
Yeah, Xbox Record that with a double siphoning one, especially with a Zentaro who just death by 1,000 cuts, basically being able to just chip away. We already see Shikakute already kind of staggered, just trying to stay alive. And Sukune doing a good job just kind of keeping them staggered, keeping them out of the play, and leaving Hateen to kind of 1v2, but Sukune able to confirm the kill there.
And Sukuna being able to get that kill means that they're in a power play, which they unfortunately aren't able to commit on, as Karasu with a unfortunate strike means that the barrier will be taken, but it doesn't matter as Sukuna another ult into Udnar means that you get the barrier with still having flip up, and this flip may come in handy here, as they are up in terms of energy here with Karasu almost having their flip up as well.
And Udnar kind of having a little too much faith in their Juno secondary to save that, holding their flip as well. But a lot of stagger getting taken out on both sides. Hateen and is now out, and Gorf now getting staggered, looking a little low. But with the striker advantage, I just don't see Space Train able to take advantage of it, especially with 2 players down now.
And 2 players down now may make it a 2v2 for Sukuna and Karasu here. As one barrier is both a piece, means that they have to find some way to get the barrier. As Sukuna does find the barrier here, gets a dash in as well. As both teammates come back online for both teams here, Shiku's still brought to a very staggering level, almost about to die. Was about to be staggered here, as everything looks to be in control of Xbox Record that. You better clip that Xbox, as Sukuna finds the corner angle here and takes the first set.
Yeah, and with Demon Days being such a close quarters map, having all that mobility on the side of Xbox Record that might be kind of what's helping them out here, just being able to reposition, and both with damage and taking those barriers down. As we see Zentaro going for the fight or flight. I mean, solid pickup with the amount of damage you're going to be getting. You're going to be refreshing that stagger pretty often, it looks like.
And Karasu denying the X the build different here. X opting for rapid fire instead of the damage comp prize fighter here, which is very, very important. Again, I've said that they're not going damage comp, which is kind of it's kind of interesting here because damage comp versus undamaged comp just kind of leads to them not being able to get any squares off, but it doesn't really matter if you can play core control to the fullest as Wateen gets the first barrier, but unfortunately at the life of Shikigute as he falls down.
Yeah, and Gorf with that Deadeye proc, I think is kind of actually what did it. Shikigute wasn't that close to the edge, but proc and Deadeye with that Vice primary, that little bit extra stagger coming from peak performance, not really going to save you there. But now we do see a power play on the side of Xbox Record, that keeping that pressure up, keeping those KOs coming.
Who needs core? Again, who needs core control when you have damage on your side here? As Karasu finding the goal here on a empty backfield. Again, Shiku, not Shiku, but the entirety of Space Train kind of just falling to God knows what as the entirety of Xbox Record that is playing the most aggressive they can possibly be here, as Oddnorb unfortunately doesn't find the core and is still trying to find something to keep this game back in their momentum.
I mean, yeah, like you said, Karasu really playing forward, really playing that aggression and keeping the core on the side of Space Train. As we see a flip goal going there, and really Karasu playing really well, playing that far forward, allowing their midfield and their brawler to like push up and really apply the damage pressure and the scoring pressure against Oddnorb, who, yeah, it's a hotshot Juno, but does not look like they have a lot of answers to this damage high mobility comp they Xbox Record that has going for them.
And comp it is, as even though they do find the first barrier, in fact the second barrier actually, as Karasu doesn't get to strike the core there, but it doesn't matter as Oddnorb kind of fumbles on their own. But looking on the side here, no awakening, nothing really to their name in terms of damage here, but Gorf teleporting in and making Oddnorb choose a 50-50, Oddnorb losing the 50-50 as Gorf finds the bottom side yet again, and kind of looks outmatched again because, again, you've said that Karasu has been pushing up a lot, and even though top players don't like the push-up momentum, but Demon Dice is one of those maps where you kind of had to outplay the meta.
Yeah, especially Demon Dice. A lot of people say goalie's optional, goalie is just a second midfield, and it seems like Karasu really kind of taking that to heart. Does pick up the size, really denying X any size potential, but Rasmus doing a good job with it. The egoist does fall all the way down to Sakune on the Zentaro, who's, once they get that flip, going to be able to get that speed burst and even more mobility.
More mobility is the key factor here, but something interesting is that Wateen is opting for kind of damage now as he does take Adrush. I think it's just a deny here, but still looking for damage is really good as Sakana is brought to almost stagger level. Isn't staggered quite just yet, but he still has the stagger ready to stay alive, as Shiku is the one who's actually staggered here. Both teams opting for kill comps as Goa finds the first kill here, opting in a 2VP power play for Xbox Record that as they're looking to score again.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Hatin kind of like playing back a little bit, trying to really go into that damage, and that's kind of a high risk, high reward. If they can get the KO, get that advantage going, on something like Demon Days, where you can your goalie can become just another forward, especially a Juno with a eject button like that. Getting that striker advantage can help apply a lot of pressure, but Hatin not able to secure some of those kills, just meaning Karasu is just kind of standing on their goal uncontested most of the time.
Contested is a bad thing, really, as Wateen and Sakana both fought really low here. And Oddnorb getting damage onto Sakana means that they're brought to stagger, and it's not really looking good for Xbox Record that as they're not really, as they don't have any barriers to their name. And Karasu with flip though is a little saving grace as 2 KOs come up on the board. Karasu does touching the X, and Sukana just falling down by the power of Aimi Juno damage comp relay.
I mean, yeah, there's only so long you can stay stay alive while staggered on this map, and Sakuna just kind of got caught there on the edge, but Xbox record that, able to hold possession just long enough for Sukuna to come back and help secure that goal.
It's looking like another. It's looking about to be another like 3-0 sweep in terms of maps. I don't think a lot of people like playing the 2 maps that we just saw earlier. So maybe it's a giving grace to think for things to come as we load onto some of the better maps people like to play. But
Yeah.
Gore popping the ult means that he won't have another 4-second cooldown. Doesn't really find any value as Fatin does evade it and does pick up an orb to increase his stagger pool a little bit more. As Sukuna dashing in finds no value in it as Onar with a flip up doesn't receives to not burn the flip, loses both airs in the process, now burns the flip. Akarasu has all the cooldowns in the world basically since nothing was pressuring him as they're on nothing but air to their backs. Sukuna with flip almost does find the strike and gets it in past all 3 members of Space Train, securing a 2-0 and I think just a clinch in general for Xbox Record that.
Yeah, and I think kind of what we were saying there, the deciding factor was basically that Xbox Record that just had so much control on Space Train's side of the field that Oddnarb and not Gorf, Shikune just could not clear it out, and so just kind of leaving Karasu there uncontested, able to just when they do clear it out, just send it back with a simple strike, and in using those abilities for more damage output for a lot of those KO confirms. I think just the damage, the mobility, and just the core control coming out of Xbox Record that was just a little too much for Space Train to handle.
I think pumping out damage was really the main factor, and being able to pump out damage means that you basically have no core control. As a quick stat line here, well, not really stat lines, you could probably see it on screen, but 9 KOs opposed to the 2 KOs found, which is pretty cool in terms of just being able to dish out damage. Remember that Demon Dice is just a comp where go brawl.
Yep. And you were kind of saying earlier, especially these first 2 maps, Inkies into Demon Days, like not everyone's favorite to play, but I think it's more specifically kind of at this elo, at kind of the OSAS level, that diamond level. It's there. People just aren't very well versed in that, especially Inky, since it's been out of rotation for so long. But then also Demon Day is really scaling into damage. So unless you're a team that loves playing for damage, Demon Days is just kind of a struggle for some of these competitors to learn.
And some of these competitors will have to learn and again, we are heading into the final week. If you guys don't qualify, then let's wait for next season. But we'll be back again with a team with 2 teams that look to be ready to qualify here after this break.
Hello and welcome back to this final round of Swiss. Looks like we are going to Night Market with EFGC and Freaky Fan Club. Should be an interesting match, and to kind of up the stakes, winner goes on to bracket. Loser is unfortunately out for OSAS this season. Any thoughts, Kairiken?
Unfortunate Souls has returned, EGFC and Freaky Fan Club. Both teams that haven't really seen the light of day in terms of getting casted. Maybe Freaky Fan Club has gotten something, but honestly, I haven't really seen it for the most part. But looks like Juno Band is coming out, I think, on just 8th. I think 8th is getting his Juno Band, which is unfortunate. But the Atlas also getting banned out, which is very interesting. I don't even know who plays this. I haven't seen these two teams play.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with Freaky Fan Club. I've played with 8th. I played against them. I don't really know much about EFGC, so it's going to be interesting to see how these teams play. And it looks like we are picking up an Octavia Asher on the side of EFGC.
Octavia Asher is interesting. On the other side, Erasmus X IME. I think 8th on the IME, then Kyra's gonna be on X, I think. I can't with these names. They're all fans of each other, okay? They're all like NASA and NASA fans. But Stark Awakening's Castle Last and Big Fish, which is interesting.
Yeah, and actually Big Fish on the Rasmus goalie, but also on that Asher forward. Asher loves them size awakenings, but you know who loves speed? Octavia getting a quick barrier.
Octavia with Castle Last is very interesting. Nice, good job so far in terms of just being able to pick the right thing. Really, as not really as much as really going on, because both teams are kind of at a standstill. Strike Wars being lost and Strike Wars being won, as EZZ Fan takes the first barrier for the side of Freaky Fan Club, but it looks like things are stepping up in terms of speed.
Yeah, and we are seeing a Kai goalie. We saw one in, I believe, round 1 on Inkies. It's going to be interesting to see how Kai goalie can kind of win these interactions with an X in your face and then IME backing them up. That IME going to be kind of a threat with some of those clears if, I believe, 8th can like time those blinks and those glitch pops just right.
And barriers gone on both sides. NZXT Fan with flip up. Lilybun Fan putting out their thing also has flip up. But everything is looking about to fall here as Lilybun Fan burns the first flip, gets the kill on the Octi, and now it's looking like a 2v3 power play on the side of Freaky Fan Club. ZZZ and Omer Gosh both having almost a flip up, but ZZZ Fan gets their flip out. Well, not gets the flip out, but trades the flip for a goal, and that goal could be the spiral to all things going wrong for EGFC, as they don't have a lot of energy to their name.
Yeah, we do see Asher about to get some, but on the other side, we already see NXZD Fan and ZZ Fan already have their flips, so that's going to be a Rasmus flip you're going to have to get through to get a barrier down, and Omer's going to have to find some way to contest an X in their face once X can kind of get the core over there with that flip.
And both teams looking very pro here as they do burn both flips here, and nothing really comes out as EZ Fan gets the flip off, gets the kill, and also another kill found by Mimocarp, evening out to an evil 2v2. Octi coming out in 6 seconds here, but stuff isn't really going quickly here as both teams are kind of just playing out, waiting for both of their teammates to come regen and get back to their thing. But EGFC with a little bit of momentum pressure here as they unfortunately do lose the barrier due to 8th getting the barrier with the glitch pop. But things looking on the back of the sides, the Conqueror, as a missed strike on the side means that they won't be fighting anything. The Lilybun Fan is looking back to normal yet again because there's not really anything going on as they're missing stuff for the most part. I say that, and CZ Fan does score it.
Yeah. Out of all the interactions that happened at that point, with the kind of like KO into a wrench KO, and then like you said, both teams just kind of like playing safe, waiting for their teammates to come up. Oh my gosh, just kind of getting caught out of position, sitting in the middle of the goal, allowing ZZ Fan to just send it to the top corner into a spot Omer just could not reach it to.
And speaking of getting out of position there, Erasmus not really back there defending the goal box means that they will be losing one barrier, but ZZ Fan being able to trade out that one barrier for a stagger moment and another barrier of their own, but Mimocarp walking up so far, maybe looking for a barrier here as both teams are trying to even it out in terms of flips here as the game is going really, really slowly, even though you do have an Octi up.
Octia getting yanked off, not able to recover enough stagger. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, Octavia gets the cast last right off the bat with the guaranteed starting awakening, but she's such a glass cannon with an X and an Aimi getting KO'd, and Freaky Fan Club able to just apply that pressure up front, collapse in, and just able to play the passing game until they find an opening and just sink that goal in.
Rasmus being the MVP for that set, really, as they have a plethora of stuff to choose from, including 2 sparks on the board, and also Unstoppable, just in case he needs to get out of any unfortunate circumstances. But leaving up to the X to take Spark or Res and opting for the Rapid Fire to take it away from the Asher, who, again, really good with having cooldowns up, and Octi opting for the Unstoppable after seeing themselves kind of get yanked across the map for no reason.
Yeah, kind of NXZD Fan, even though they had the first pick, just kind of waiting to see what ZZ Fan wanted to pick up, and ZZ Fan opting to deny the stagger to from getting to the side of EFGC. Really just trying to kill any chance of survivability that EFCG has.
Freaky Fan Club back to opening up the round with both barriers taken, and ZZ Fan walking up past the gas, doesn't guess it right, but Mimocarp in staggered GZC Fan looking for the kill here as the round slows down a bit to get Octavia off of her secondary, as they're missing stuff, but is looking still really good as ZZ Fan finds the top side, winning the strike war against Mimocarp and Oh My Gosh.
Yeah, and kind of an unfortunate miscommunication. Mimocarp was trying to come back for that stagger orb. Omergosh kind of stepping on it first and denying Mimocarp to get their stagger from it. Just kind of leaving him in that staggered state and unable to push any forward and really to participate in the play at all.
And participating in play kind of has to be important. I've seen Mimocarp use their Path Slewer a bunch of times. Might not be the best call as both flips are burnt out by Aeth and NZXD Fan, as a flip does kill the Octi yet again with no Unstoppable, as the power play comes up, one barrier taken down. Power play almost getting one conversion so far. Second conversion might not come out as Oh My Gosh gets the flip and takes out the second barrier, leaving NZXD Fan with an open barrier, with an open go net here, as EGFC are amping up the pressure here as they're trying to get that score off, but unfortunately doesn't come into play though.
Yep, and the Clunker, or the Kunkler, really trying to use that activity to get the KO against the goalie Rasmus, but it's kind of hard in their own goal box because they have that kind of damage reduction buff, that knockback reduction, and you're not going to catch too many people off guard with that.
A little bit of lag means that Leibun Fan isn't able to convert due to some lagging, to some technical difficulties. But ZZ Fan walking up, getting the strike and winning the strike war against Oh My Gosh, sets Freaky Fan Club up with another 2-0, another 2-0 point deficit. Well, not a 2-0 point deficit, but more of a 2-0 point lead here, as they're playing slow and it seems to be working out.
Yeah, and we kind of see right at the spawn there, Lilybun Fan having some lag issues, kind of missing their strike, but still able to send it forward and get a barrier down on the side of EFGC. And EFGC finally getting Mimocarp and Octavia up front and able to get that second barrier down. And I think that's kind of what EFGC needs. They've been unable to really get the core up to Mimocarp in Freaky Fan Club's goal box for Mimocarp to really do anything with all those Asher abilities. Notoriously slow and big, Asher really wants to be up there contesting the goalie.
And they can't contest the goalie anymore as the Octi does fall and they convert on the power play yet again. ZZ Fan striking it in. And 2-0 start for the Freaky Fan Club as, again, X getting that perfect form, looking to probably take the perfect form as well, since, again, X is a really great character with perfect form.
Yeah, I cannot imagine X passing a perfect form. There we go. That's gonna really hurt on the side of EFGG. Octavia already taking damage. X just gonna be able to get those abilities up that much quicker. It seems like Freaky Fan Club's. Jeez, I fell for the bait. Freaky Fan Club's strategy is basically take out the midfield, make Asher fall back, and then midfield forward goalie just push up and apply that pressure to get the barriers, and then just collapse in on that Kai goalie.
And collapsing, they will have to do, but it looks like collapsing is on the other side of the field as Kunkler finds the first barrier for each EFGC, as is looking back to same side barrier shenanigans as they're trying to outplay the Asher, but Asher's just staying there, just waiting for the moment to arise, and the moment does come as they take the second barrier here. Kunkler trying to push up. The momentum is on the side, they just need to find one pass to get the Asher up with the core flip. They just have to dribble here. Dribbling due to the bottom side here, as N16 flushes it out with their primary here. Mario with flip does burn it, unfortunately does find no value in it. But ZZ Fan looking to take control back into their own hands by damaging the Asher here. Looking back to try to take it back into control, but doesn't matter as Kunkler with the ult slams it in, taking away N16's fan strike and putting it in for the first point.
And Kunkler right there, that's how you use the Octavia ult. You get it up in that corner, send it over, pop it, and just kind of deny them any chance, any hope of just pushing it through you. And that is what EFKGC needed. They were able to keep the possession of the core on Freaky Fan Club's side of the field long enough that they were taking a lot of damage, but they were getting EFKGC or Freaky Fan Club to waste all their abilities to the point they had nothing to contest, just a double forward push.
And even though Lily Bun Fan did burn their foot there, it didn't even matter as ZZ Fan punches it in with the X Maximus. Still retain their flip as well. It means that they can probably use it for another play coming up soon, but things seem to be looking dire on the side of EFGC as they have to find a play going on, and a play as they shall, as they're trying to get in, shoving it into the face of the Rasmus, but not really finding any value.
Yeah, Kunkler getting just a little too far forward with that Octavia, kind of denying Mimokarp's opportunity to get that barrier. Unfortunately, making the save, but can they get it here? Both forwards up front, just apply that pressure, keep control of the core long enough, and no, NXZD Fan is able to clear it out.
And Dane, I think that EGFC needs to play a little bit more, like, slow in terms of, because they're rushing their abilities and everything, and rushing their abilities means that something's going on as ZZ Fan does take a moment to emo as a moment of sadness, but everything's on the side of EFGC as they have core possession and they've really spent a lot of time getting everything, but it's the other team that's able to get every value in terms of being able to swing core control in their favor as it hits overtime here, and the core going fast means that something has to happen.
Yeah, and we do see both barriers going down on both sides, and we saw a really good forward push on the side of EFGC, but they unfortunately NXZD Fan Lilybun able to lock it down and long enough to get it cleared out and to ZZ Fan to take that barrier and ultimately getting the goal.
And they're starting to get impatient again. Gosh, completely listening to the strike means that the barrier will go right through it, and NXZD Fan pushing up almost gets the barrier, doesn't find it, but the Kunkler being able to capitalize means that they will get that EGFC will have a second barrier too, as the Asher shoves it right in and takes another point off for EFGC, as they can probably start to come back on their run if they keep playing like this.
And that was a beautiful use of the core flip from Mimokarp there, like getting that barrier, flipping it, and then striking immediately in the primary just to keep control of that core for that last point. But unfortunately, we do see double barriers down on the side of EFGC.
It's not really looking good as they need to find something to equalize it, as they burn one flip down, but they still have another entire person to get through. As they need to find, as the EFGC have to find something to get it away, as the IME keeps the core away from the Octavia and sets up ZZZ Fan with a flip ready at the hands. All you need to do is get it to the X as he's walking around looking for a chance to get it in. But Mimokarp says, no, you shall not pass. As Mimokarp gets the strike off and deflects the flip as well, almost would flip himself, as they're looking to convert here, and they might as well, as there's only one flip left on the map as the Conklave sends it to the bottom side, and EFGC take a set off, and things might start to get messy as I think Mimocarp with MVP will be getting first pick, and it might be looking good.
Yeah, I don't know what clicked on the side of EFGC, but that entire last set, they were taking less damage. I don't believe Freaky Fan Club was ever able to get a KO, which just allowed them to keep the core going in the direction that they wanted. And especially with the Stagger Swagger coming up on the side of Octavia, she's going to have so much more survivability as long as she can stay away from the X, who does pick up the Egoist. And yeah, they get that flip and the proc, especially with perfect form. That X might be greeting some, chasing down some KOs this set.
Yeah, X might have to chase down KOs to get at least any beneficiary out of their picks and draft, but it doesn't really matter here as he's just able to dribble around, dribble and get the core control, because all you need to do to win is just to get the core through the net here. As Freaky Fan Club are again turning it up as usual as they are applying more pressure onto EFGC.
Yeah, and Mimocarp falling all the way back to help defend, which might be the play, having an Octavia fall back against an X, just stacking all that damage. But they are able to hold out long enough to keep that barrier up just a little bit, but eventually ZZ Fan does get the barrier down, but the Clunker returns it and gets a double barrier. Nice ult on the side of EFGC.
And it means that no barriers are available for both teams as checkmate comes in, as the Cyber Sentry does send it right in, and it's looking again really good on the side of Freaky Fan Club as they do have 2 flips online, which is very important.
Yeah, they do have 2 flips, but we are seeing a lot less damage coming out, which I think entirely is what EFGC wants. I say that as they lose double barriers, and Lilybun Fan able to come in with that flip and secure the goal there. So I think Freaky Fan Club has decided, okay, we're not doing damage. We're just going to keep the core going forward and just push it through.
Core control has to be the right play here as they need to win. As they knock off Asher off the map with the X Maximus as well. Burning a flip as well means that everything is on the side as they're pushing right through, and even the Rasmus is pushing up and getting ready to win as everything is looking on the side of Freaky Fan Club. NZXT having to burn their flip, but Asher just shoving it right in means that they might have a chance to get a point, but they have to convert right now or else it's going to waste as Octavia falls.
Yeah, and unfortunately, NXTD Fan just pushed a little too far forward during that power play, lost a barrier, and then ended up losing the second. But now Freaky Fan Club going back to kind of getting the damage, trying to confirm those KOs. But the Conklave able to come in, win the strike war, get it through, and NXTD Fan just not able to connect with that Rasmus ult for the save.
I think they're switching it up to where Asher plays midfield and Octi's going straight in to be the scorer here, which might not seem good, but I guess it could be working as they take a barrier off and they're looking to apply more pressure as they invest the Asher up, but doesn't find anything, but the double barrier comes on the other side, and XZZ Fan says you shall not pass this point as they punch it in and qualify for the bracket stage. Congratulations.
Yeah, Freaky Fan Club doing a good job of kind of switching between when to go to damage, when to make those pushes, and get that possession and get those barriers, get those goals. A lot of good confirms, both in scoring attempts and KOs on the Freaky Fan Club. And EFGC did start coming back in that last set, in those last 2 sets, kind of changing the rhythm up. But unfortunately, it was just a little too late, and Freaky Fan Club was able to scale and just kind of adapt. And I think that's kind of where EFGC was just a little slow in adapting to what Freaky Fan Club was going for.
Yeah, but honestly, that adaptation could have came sooner though, as they did manage to spiral out of control, and the stat line again, 9 goals and 5 KOs, just showing that X is just the massive character with perfect form, and him getting it is just really bad. And that qualifier just means that Freaky Fan Club back at it again. Another season, another time to shine. As we will head into a break. Stay tuned for the bracket stage.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Omega Strikers Amateur Series. We're in week 4 of season 9 and this is really a crunch time. If you do not make it here, you are not making it to the finale for this OSAS season. How are you doing, Dios?
I am doing fantastic. Looking forward to this game between Dreamcast and Hooked on Goth Cats.
Yeah, and we're on Aimee's app, not a map you see too often in these types of tournaments, but somehow it was left up and Dream Crush are the ones who will be feasting as they're on blue side. How do you think the draft's going to pan out here? What do you think they're going to do with the Rasmus ban?
Honestly, the Rasmus ban is actually pretty dang smart. It will actually prevent a lot of kill powers from them, but you may see a Juliet pick coming up soon.
Oh, and they don't end up banning Juliet. Yeah, it's kind of the mind game, right? When you're on red side, you aren't sure whether you should ban Rasmus or not. And with blue side, you get such a big advantage. They get to Juliet, and they also get quite a bit of damage on the comp.
Yes, Juliet does actually have a power to like block off one lane. Just that kill power right there is such a huge threat, so we're gonna see how they handle it.
On the other side, the picks are coming a little slowly. There are other knockback KO characters on this map, right? Drakara and Asher do a little bit of what the Julie and the Rasmus do a little bit, but instead they're going for Vyson now. And how do you think that composition's going to do on this map?
It actually depends on who's actually going for what for Rose, because Vice as a forward, that's a lot of kill power with the ultimate, a lot of lane blocking power. We're gonna see how that works if she's midfield.
Oh, Zentaro Vice now. That's a pretty high damage comp. Not much in the immediate knockback department, but Hooked on Goth Cats, they got some power of their own as we load into game. Starting Awakenings, what are you looking at?
We have Monumentalist and 1-2 Punch.
That 1-2 punch going to be very scary in the hands of Mythic Actuary. And that Manu going to be quite good on Imperial Sim's Fini as well. So as this game progresses, I think, what do you think that Hook on Goth Cats can do to turn it around a little bit? Because immediately Dream Crush have a bit of an advantage, it feels like.
Well, I was going to say that we're going to have maybe a huge safety net with now, but as you saw, we already got 1 kill right there.
That was a lot of damage, and now the passing plays are coming through. Dream Crush looking like a very solid team as they just poured the damage in. Another KO. 2 power plays in 1 point as they clean sweep this one.
Juliet gained that 1 kill at the end. Might actually give her a good lead for the first pick draft if they actually end up winning the set.
Yeah, that XP is very important, but right now it's Imperial Simp who is actually very far ahead in that race, and Imperfections and Feeding Kappa, they don't even have their third ability yet.
Yes, Zentaro not having a defensive wall with the offensive pressure with his ultimate may actually be a hindrance to them if they cannot get level 2 soon enough.
All right, the big finish coming out. The Monumental is making it difficult as Mythic Actuary goes in, feeding Kappa on the bottom side. Pass up to Imperial Simp through the Mythic Actuary, trying to find a goal there. Not quite able to. And Mean Goat, no hesitation, behind the back clear as they get it away. And Mythic Actuary has a flip available, so even if this barrier goes down here, doesn't. Mean Goat still makes the save. Mythic Actuary gets a KO with the flip, and the barrier still stands for Dream Crush.
Mythic's actually doing a phenomenal job of having that kill power right there. Also, leaving the core there for the Finny to get with the ultimate was actually a beautiful play by her.
Team combinations are there. The individual plays are there. Dream Crush is looking like the team to beat. It's surprising. They're at a 2-1 record, right? They lost in the Swiss stage, but they're looking like a 3-0 roster.
Honestly, I'm actually more impressed with the team play with Imperial and Mythic. Just having that knowledge to be like, I can trust my Finny to get that point in with the ultimate, that actually says a lot about how much they coordinate together.
Yeah, and right now, even though they're stacked a little bit, it's still not the worst situation as they're setting up for a passing play, perhaps. Mean Goat continuing to keep the defense up. Mythic in a 1v1, a weird dribble though. A little bit of a chance for feeding Kappa and Imperfections, perhaps, but they just can't get control of the core. Mean Goat and Imperial Simp defending quite well here, but they do get it through. They do take the barrier down, and maybe a chance on the other side presents itself. Mythic with a dribbling play, trying to fake out in the center, defended away by Imperfections, and Hooked on Goth Cats survive for a tiny bit longer.
Imperfections actually almost self-scored there, which could have been a big hindrance if went in. However, we did see that Mythic did actually score with the kick punch. A beautiful play by them.
Yeah, and securing that first pick in the draft for Dream Crush, Imperial Simp, the one who is first on the board. Looking at the draft, what do you think are the priority picks for the first 3 picks here?
Honestly, team play is going to be a very strong pick for either team, given that both Now and Maka can make good use of it, especially with this map where the middle is cut off. Rapid Fire is always a good pick, And for someone like Finny, or even now, they didn't pick it up, but Timeless Creator could have been a viable pick too.
I'm a little scared of that fight or flight on the Julie, adding mobility, adding potential resets on the dash. This is going to be a scary Juliet who's all over the map, but with Stagger falling down, I think that's pretty good for feeding Kappa.
Actually, the one I'm curious about, though, is Imperfections picking up the Spark. We may see a Spark build coming out by them if the draft actually is good for them.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't picked up by Mythic Actuary perhaps, but right now the immediate power's coming in, so much damage. If that staggered, that would have been absolute death, but look at that, damage onto Mythic Actuary as well. Imperfections trying to send the core forward, succeeding as feeding Kappa has a triple take at their back, but unable to find the barrier here, and the core slips by. LT Killer, will they get back in time? They do. They manage to save it for a moment, but they still have their barriers down.
Yes, that did seem to be a misplay by LT Killer, missing that secondary and actually not having the blast from it. It could have been a point for them had they not defended in time.
Tough situation on the bottom side, the Manu making it awkward, but Imperial Simp will get a passing play through absolutely everyone, and Mythic will secure with the flip. What a pass by Imperial Simp.
Honestly, Mythic's play of using the core flip into the primary punch does actually guarantee a good side, well, a chance of getting the point in. It's hard to defend against that quick hits.
Right now, it's a tough situation in the midfield as Mythic is so fast with that fight or flight. LT Killer just can't get there in time. Taking so much damage, does the flip though, and Imperfections defeating Kappa though. Wow, Imperfections finds the perfect angle through everyone, accelerating the core forward and finding a goal for Hooked on Goth Cats.
Honestly though, Kappa though did actually manage to find that sneak in between the Mako and Finny. A beautiful sneak in for the unlock.
Yeah, and if they can score like that, score a little earlier, use the mobility of the Zentaro to rush forward and follow up with the Vice, they have a chance. But it is the stuffing power coming out from Dream Crush, right? That Juliet and the Finny with the big finish, that is just so oppressive to deal with.
I actually do want to point out that Mean Goat though did take Manu on Mako. And as we saw right there, the ultimate does kind of get hindered by it though. That may be a defining feature in this game if Mako can manage to lock the core down in time.
Yeah, 1-2 punch definitely would have been the better pick there. Goalies actually like 1-2 punch quite a bit, especially on Mako for that additional core speed. And a really dangerous defense there. Feeding Kappa choosing not to use the core flip. Maybe might use it here, but it's actually the Supernova from Imperfections. The core flip being saved comes in big for Hooked on Goth Cats as they basically have 2 flips for this next round.
That teamwork from Imperfection and Feeding Kappa was so beautiful. Feeding Kappa setting up such nicely for the Vice ultimate to actually get the point in. There was nothing that they could have done there to defend against it.
Now a tough spot for Mythic Actuary, trying to find potential with this core flip, but hasn't found many dash punch KOs in the moment. Doesn't choose to use the flip still, is feeding Kappa very, very patient on this energy usage. Might come back to bite them though, as a dash punch comes in. Mythic Actuary not choosing to use the flip for the KO. Trying to find a scoring opportunity, but it's actually Imperfection sending it around everybody. A simple pass turns into a shot into a goal.
You love to see when that happens though. At the same time though, that actually might have actually hindered them because Zentaro may not actually get the XP. And as you see right here, he is last pick on the team because of that, mayhaps.
Yeah, but Knife's Edge is on the board, right? Aimi Zap, such a scary pick here. Both the goalies coming up first. You don't have to pick it. If you're hooked on Gothcat, you could pass it all the way down to the Vice, and that's what they're looking to do here, it looks like. Knife's Edge going to be taken? No! Knife's Edge passed up by 2 of the forwards, falling down to Zentaro, perhaps? And yes, it will be picked up by the Zentaro. We're drafting here. Knife's Edge should have higher priority on Aimi Zap, but who do you think won the draft overall?
Honestly, I want to say Mythic did. Picking up Adros in this map with Juliet, that can lead to a lot of kills if they're able to actually get the first kill to initiate that combo.
Yeah, with 1-2 punch as well with the pummelers. If Mythic can focus on the dash punches, this game could be completely taken over here. But feeding Kappa, what a combo. What a scoring attempt as the barrier gets taken down. And feeding Kappa now wins the strike war versus Mean Goat. Finds the goal for Hooked on Goth Cats as their offense continues.
Honestly, the Now and Vice combo, they lock down one lane, and it makes it very hard for Mythic and Imperial to even get past them. They have to either commit to one lane, or we're going to see if they can actually manage to sneak by the Vice ultimate. But as you see here, it's not that easy.
Yeah, Mythic just hasn't found the dash punches yet. It does find the barrier there, and the big finish makes it difficult, but beating Kappa and Imperfections. Looking for some good teamwork, and they do find it. Finding a dribble play to the bottom side, beating Kappa, outspeeding Mean Goat to find the barrier. And now they have a big chance, but they got to be careful because Imperial Simp and Mythic Actuary, they're the ones looking for a bit of a passing play here. Tough situation in the corner, but a Strike War win by Imperfections. Beating Kappa, stuffs the core flip, and Mean Goat punished for that energy usage there as Dream Crush. Their dreams are looking a little crushed here. It's a far cry from the first set.
Yes, Mean Goat should have actually held off a little bit longer in that core flip. His entire primary does last quite a bit, and we saw right there, that quick flip hit actually did not do them any good.
Right there too, the offense coming in for Hooked on Goth Cats, beating Kappa with the patience, with the Strike War, but Mean Goat's the one who wins it this time. Strike shots from LT Killer have been pretty good this game, making sure the offense is kept up, and a good pass from Imperfections up to the front. A clear angle, but Mythic Actuary receives from Imperial Simp, who finds a crazy bounce, but beating Kappa on the other end, making sure the barriers are equalized. Tough situation, LT Killer panic flip. Imperfections has a flip available as well. To the bottom side it goes, and the offense will stop for now as so much energy is burnt from Hooked on Goth Cats. They're out of flips, while Mythic Actuary is almost at one already. Imperial Simp with the mix up to the top side. LT Killer not expecting that one at all.
Imperial is showing just how good they are with the angles. It's not easy hitting that lock from hitting the top of the from the middle gate, middle hole. But as you saw right there, even using the ultimate, they have some insane angles with it.
Barrier and the goal taken by the midfielder there. Mythic's got to step up, though, to try and create the pressure, and step up they do. That's a barrier take. That's a flip forward. That's a punch to the top side. Defended away this time by LT Killer, but they're keeping the core trapped, and now feeding Kappa's turn to play. Knife's Edge, plenty of speed to work with as the core advances to the other side of the map. The core speed from the Supernova, not quite enough, though. Top side, barrier taken, and now this dash punch comes in. It's the adrenaline rush coming in for Mythic Actuary, and Hooked on Goth Cats on the back foot right now.
And we see the now goes in. A beautiful play by Mythic. That actually might have gotten back in the game, and that was a lot of XP for her.
Yeah, the Juliet getting the XP, getting the draft positioning might be exactly what they need here as another point starts, and it's 2-2. We're at 0.5 already. It looked like Hooked on Goth Cats had this one under control, but maybe not.
We do see the Zentaro actually dash away, and actually might have saved him. Oh.
That's Imperial Simp using a single Fini primary to KO the goalie, not even the return. The short end of it.
I was actually caught off guard by seeing that. I was not expecting that. But between the kill and the actual point, Fini does take the first pick. And we do see Spark Resilience for Imperfection if they want to take it.
Yeah, look at the draft. Other than that big spark in everyone's face right now, what do you think is going to make the most impact in this next set?
We do see Explosive Entrance for Zentaro if he chooses to take it, or Super Surge if he wants to go that route too. Honestly, both valuable picks on him.
Yeah, and that's that spark falling down, but the spark not chosen, it looks like. Instead, the immediate dash awakenings on the side of both the forwards of Hooked on Goth Cats. It's going to be a scary round in terms of defense for Mean Goat, but I think that Dream Crush have the tools with that perfect form.
Dream Crush, though, they actually do have a good chance of coming back in the set. They did get a good pick and draft, but we're going to see how that goes for them.
Yeah, Hooked on Goth Cats, on the other hand, they're going to need to find some good offense, and so far, feeding Kappa, getting dash punch off the edge. That's that 1-2 punch pummeler's power from Mythic Actuary, as his Juliet is midfielding, as sometimes happens on IME's app. Finding those dash punches, making sure it's so difficult. Imperial Simp this time, powered up by the missile propulsion, will take out the goalie once again with the short end of the primary. And once again, the passing plays come out, but the defense is there. Hooked on Goth Cats just out of reach. They defended valiantly, but the lack of goalie makes it a little too difficult.
Dream Crush is showing just how powerful a kill comp can be if they get the awakenings. Between Fini's missile prop and Juliet's ad rush and 1-2 punch, Hooked on Goth Cats are having a hard time surviving.
That KO potential is being exploited even more as Mythic gets a double KO. Dash punch, adrenaline rush, running all over the map and looking for the goalie as well. And finally getting taken out after the evade. Mythic plays that so patiently, so well, and KOs all three members of Hooked on Goth Cats.
Getting an ace solo Juliet is a big turning point for them. That is a huge morale boost for Dream Crush, and maybe a huge morale defeat for Hooked on Goth Cats.
And with the barrier down, they're pushing in the goalie down to flip in. Dream Crush, crushing the dreams of Hooked on God Cats with this one. As they look very, very practiced on Naimi Zap, they will move on for a chance at the finale.
Honestly, that was a beautiful last set by Dream Crush. I had my best on Hooked on Gothcats, but I'm happy to be wrong with that play.
Looking at the stats, anything surprise you? Well, there's one thing that's not surprising. It's the KO number.
Honestly, I was more surprised by the Imperial playing with the points and the kills. Despite only having 17k damage, Finny actually got a lot of kill power on that now. And using her ultimates, she got a lot of points. And honestly, that's my MVP for the game.
Yeah, Imperial Sim getting the KOs, two KOs both on the goalie with the same ability. It was a little crazy. And most of the goals as well. But EOS, it looks like we're going to head to a bit of a break as we wait for the other bracket matches in the first round to wrap up. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a little bit for the qualifiers for the finale.
See you soon.
Welcome back to OSAS bracket stage. We got Xbox Record That versus Cutie Patooties in a finale qualifier match. Both these teams could lose here. They have one more chance, but I think they would prefer to win here. What do you think, EOS?
I don't know. I know Gorf, and I know he likes to kind of, throw, but we're going to see if he throws here or not.
It's kind of funny because the previous game was like, you have to win, but this one, you get a second chance afterwards. The third place match, all that working out. But we're on Taiko Temple. And we caught a little bit of Xbox Record That's previous game, and they were also on Taiko. So, any thoughts heading into this one?
Honestly, from what we saw, it seemed like Xbox Record That is very confident in Taiko Temple. We're going to see if they can actually make that work again in this game.
And looking at the picks here, they're looking to prioritize Druid a little bit. We saw Sukana on the Rasmus, I believe. Picked up a lot of size in that previous game, as the rune will be taken away from Gorf. And how do you think the comp's going to generally shape up here?
Honestly, I have no idea. They may go for a kill comp, they may go for a team play comp, but we do see on Cutie Patooties that they do have more of a defensive comp with the Air and Rasapik. A very protective, very defensive play style.
Yeah, they're really playing that core control way. Of course, Asher might get a stray KO or two, but wait a second. Things turn around quite a bit here with that Centauro pick. Where do you think... Who's in the goal box? Wait a second. What's happening?
I want to say it's going to be Asher, but
Okay.
we're going to see in a second.
And it is indeed Asher in the goal box. On the other side, though, we are looking at a pretty standard composition from Xbox Record That. This Ultra Dre Centauro is going to have to do a lot of work, but looking at the starting awakenings, what are your immediate thoughts?
We do, with the Spock starting, that could actually lead to some snowballing effects if Gorf, Sukana, or Ultra Dre can get the Spocks first. However, Sukana and Gorf actually having Spocks both between the both of them, I don't know, they may end up fighting for it.
But fighting is something that Sukana is very familiar with, it looks like. Flame Flurry in the face of Asher. Unable to defend that are the Cutie Patooties. As Xbox Record That also got an early KO, right, on Ultra Dre?
Yes, we talked over, but as soon as the match started, Ultra Dre lost half their life. Between the Sukana damage and Gorf damage, they actually dissed out a lot on Ultra Dre.
A bit of a trick shot attempt from Gorf goes a little wide, but they still maintain possession in the top corner. Looking for a play, but the core slips out, and Karasu is forced to burn a dash to keep it away. Gidos and Ultra Dre pushing forward on the map, though, and this team play is really coming through with the NATO.
Karasu actually managed to defend quite well there. It's not easy defending against a Era and a Centauro dig forward, but they did it perfectly and flawlessly.
Oh, but this time it's a little too much as Ultra Dre goes in, looks for the follow-up, but not quite enough as this Asher is pushed up way too far, overextends, loses both barriers, and now Sukana's working on a flip here. If Dalgidos can hold it in the midfield, though, that's good, but a good rotation by Karasu, and a great Giga Blast by Gorf will send it past the Asher.
Asher's going up may have been the undoing. They got too aggressive there, and it did cost them both the locks, and ultimately the points.
Tough situation. A good offensive play at the start really turns around in the other direction as the core bouncing once again. Good clears by Karasu. Looking to be very disciplined on these strikes. Something that you have to be against Centauro, like right there. Ultra Dre, the one who ends up getting the first barrier here. As a Timeless on Asher doing a lot of work as well to defend the passive barrier on the primary.
Karasu, though, has a lot of potential for doing for helping out with the team. That dash into the eject button does mean they actually have a lot of damage output right at the gate, as well as having that forward pressure with the ultimates. But we're going to see if that actually makes it work soon enough, though.
Oh, tough spot. Forced to burn the flip is Karasu as Sukana tries to find a barrier. Finds a double barrier angle. Has the flip. Dash punches it in. Really, really well played by Sukana to recognize the opening. And Xbox Record That 3-0 start to this one.
Sukana, though, not getting that kill, though. It was sad to see. The game, unfortunately, ended before the kill could go through. But Imi is first pick, and we do see Spock Vigility in play. The three who have Spock starts, they may want that.
Yeah, they really do. Spark of Agility not being picked up immediately, being passed down to the Kai. And there are plenty of good awakenings for this Ultra Dre Centauro later in the draft here. 1-2 punch being picked up. What do you think about the general draft strategy here from both teams?
To be fair, pretty solid pickups from both sides. Imi with the areas, We know that he loves Dash Awakenings. Asta loves that primary buff. We're gonna see what side actually gets the better pick here, though. But the one that makes me more curious is actually Gore picking up the Spark.
Sukana, no punch necessary, just the kick, just the dash into the corner of the center drum will send Ultra Dre flying off the map. And like you were saying, I think I misplayed the draft a little bit. The one with the Spark was indeed Gorf, and Gorf is thriving with the scaling. Sukana this time getting the KO on the goalie as Gorf sends it through. Xbox record that. They got the immediate power, they got the scaling as well, and they're looking like a very well put together team here.
Sukana, though, is finding those pickoffs. Just hitting that angle on the middle drum on Ultra Dre for the kill, and actually killing Aster, which is merely a punch. So he's really punishing those misplays with the positioning.
Oh, but speaking of punishing, it's Ultra Dre who takes a 1v2 and wins it, finding a goal back and making this set a little bit more even for the Cutie Patooties.
With the next set here, though, this next points, we do see the Karasu missing the primary, though. And it is really unfortunate because it's so easy to miss that primary, but so punishing.
But punishing instead with the Firewall Sentry, setting up Sukana perfectly. And now a passing play comes through. Pass splitter burned, primary burned. The Asher out of cooldowns, but Dogitos with a single strike will take a barrier, will flip to the top side, trying to find another as Ultra Dre has the strikes. But they're unable to do so as Xbox record that defense is strong. Even getting the backwards glitch pop is Karasu to keep the barrier up. And now Ultra Dre pushing forward, but it's still defended by Karasu, who is looking very solid against the Centauro.
The damage out, though, from Sukana and Gorf, though, is just making Dre's life just non-existent. And also making their life a lot harder as a result. Xbox record that is having a hard time just pressing that forward presser with the Centauro because of that.
Cutie Patooties once again on the back foot. Xbox record that once again, finding the goal with the help of the Firewall Sentry this time. And Cutie Patooties are in a lot of trouble now.
Yes, Asher is having a hard time defending against the forward presser, but honestly, it's Ultra Dre who's having the most issue, I feel like. If we do see a Stagger Striker pick up next set, they may want to go for it.
Dash punch. No stagger required this time from Sukana, but a good defensive primary. The barrier beam sends it forward. Asher still defending here. Ultra Dre helping out on the defense and rushing it forward for a barrier. And Cutie Patootie staying afloat despite the player loss there.
We do, Ayla is actually having a fantastic ultimate there, protecting the bottom side from Xbox record that. We don't see it often, but Ayla does actually have a very good defensive power with that ultimate, if she can manage to make use of it.
Ultra Dre set up perfectly, trying to find a play with the Oni's blade, unable to do so. And now Karasu and Sukana exploding onto the offense. Ultra Dre sending it back away, trying to find a play to the bottom side, but it's Gorf who is there, rushing forward, flip available. The core slips away. It is Cutie Patooties who have to find a moment here, but it is instead Karasu making sure the goalie can't get there at all with the Cyber Swipe hit stun, and Gorf finding the set win.
Gorf is finding those primary hits so perfectly every time. Even with Ash's defensive power, they just cannot defend against Gorf's pressing. But we do see two Sparks here, though, and we can see where they go.
Yeah, two Sparks. One could fall down if not denied, but it'll probably be denied away by the side of Cutie Patooties to make sure the triple Spark doesn't come onto the Kai. Really tough spot here, though, because there's so many powerful awakenings, right? Fighter Flight Stagger Swagger are key pieces that are being passed up here. But of course, the Spark of Resilience will add a lot of bulk to Ultra Dre, let the Centauro survive a little more.
When it came to the Sparks, I'm actually thinking both teams pick up perfect ones. Ultra Dre gets the defense that he sorely needs, and Sukana gets the extra power that's going to be good for killing.
You gotta be so careful in playing against Sukana now, especially in the top corner. As that Juliet's lurking, almost gets a double kill. Do you see that? They bounce off the drum, but if the drum wasn't there, they were both dead.
That drum may just save this entire point for Cutie Patooties.
Still a tough spot, though, in the top side. They're taking a lot of damage and almost losing a barrier there, but a good dash to the bottom side. Sukana still managing to secure one. Going for a dash punch. Evading away from the Maelstrom to not fall on this Juliet. Such a massive presence, but Dogitos in the midfield, making sure that the core does not get past too easily.
Sukana is trying to find those kills, and they do actually find on the Asher. Sukana has been perfectly was trying to find these kills, and when they do find it, they severely punish Cutie Patooties for that.
The goalie going down is devastating for Cutie Patooties as Xbox Record That finds another point. And Xbox Record That, right, their team play is really showing up. They're capitalizing so well on every opening that's created by either Sukana or Karasu, and Gorf is just holding it down in the midfield to let them play like that.
Their teamwork is actually phenomenal this game. Karasu's managed to be both defensive and also offensive with the ultimates. We see Sukana with those kills, as you saw right there.
Oh, but for a moment, it is let go. The core bounces around the world into the bottom corner. Dogitos finds a goal. Cutie Patooties, they'll take that one as it was almost over for them.
Dogitos, though, actually dashed around the road right there. We did see them actually bounce off the bumper, but it was not a kill. So the XP does not go to Sukana.
Yeah, and if the XP ends up mattering here, that'll be really bad for Xbox Record That, right? They would like to win this one without going to another draft.
When it comes to Spark starting, you really want to have first pick on priority on your characters. And if Cutie Patooties cannot get that, or vice versa, if Xbox Record That can't get that, that may be a hindrance for them down the line if the other team gets the Spark.
Oh, but speaking of that spark power, the KO power, the damage from Sukana's 2 sparks really coming in there as Karasu's follow-up finds the KO, Gore finds the goal, and Xbox Record That. They don't care about more drafts, all the sparks off the board already, and they want to win this one without going to another carousel.
At this point, it's just coming down between a ultimate suit versus ultimate weapon when it comes to Sukana and Asher. Asher's trying to protect against the aggression, but Sukana is just punching them for that.
Oh, but wait a second. Gorf is low. They almost find the KO, but not quite, and Sukana finds the dash punch. The barriers are found. Ultra Dre finds the KO. Big opportunity for Ultra Dre in the midfield, but doesn't use the flip. Gets dash punched, and Ultra Dre almost dies. A dribble in the midfield, looking to try and get a pass without using the flip, but I think Ultra Dre is going to need to use flip here because Sukana's punching on the other end. Karasu finds the barrier, looks for the flip, looks to finish it off here. Tough situation, but it's somehow saved by the Cutie Patooties. But Sukana, cooldown's available. Looks like no, it's actually Asher who gets KO'd across the map. An amazing defensive blink by Karasu to save the point, and now Gorf's pushing up. The Oni's blade actually takes out Gorf, and somehow Cutie Patooties staying alive. Ultra Dre not falling just yet as overtime finally hits.
This has been an action-packed point right here, and I'm honestly on the edge of my seat between Karasu saving and the kills going off.
In the end, though, it is just a glitch pop in the midfield by Karasu. Great awareness. Xbox Record That will qualify for the finale.
Xbox Record That played that so perfectly. Like I was saying earlier, the offensive power from the Aimi and oh my god, I just drew a blank. Pretty much the offensive power from Aimi and Kai, with the kill power from Juliet, they had both offensive and defensive playing power. They didn't need teamwork. They just had pure core control of that game.
Yeah, just incredibly well played from them. And they're into the finale. We'll see how they do in the bracket, in the group stage and all of that, versus the other teams that have made it to the end of the OSAS weeklies. But we have another qualifier immediately. And we're going to have to get these people out of the lobby because we're not taking a break this time. We're going right into it. CFG versus Dream Crush. We saw Dream Crush earlier. Any thoughts on these two teams here as they head to that qualifying match?
The one I'm actually most curious about, though, is going to be Dream Crush. They actually had a hard time at the beginning of the last game they were in, but they came back in the later sets. I want to see if they can do the same thing again.
Yeah, it will be definitely huge if they can show that resilience. And of course, I think the player to watch was Mythic Actuary, right?
Oh, 100%. Mythic managed to find those kills, find those points. I want to see if they can do it again, like I said.
Okay, maybe I lied actually. Maybe Imperial Simp was they're both players to watch.
Well, yeah. To be fair, though, Imperial Simp had those angers on lockdown, but Mythic's also the one that set him up for that. But I stand by what I said. Imperial Simp was my MVP that game. So, if anything, I'd be watching them most.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. CFG, on the other hand, no strangers to OSAS. They've been here quite a bit. Definitely a familiar name for a lot of viewers, I think. Anything you could tell me about them?
To be honest, the only one I really know too much about is Moonlit Owl, but every time I see them in game, they've always been consistent. always been dominating. So they're the ones you want to watch out for, at least on that team, in my opinion.
Yeah, we should get started any moment now. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Dream Crush is on blue side, CFG is on red side. And we are heading to AtLab. Okay, a bit of a normal map after a day of craziness.
Finally, something without a thing in the middle, like a bumper or a hole. But this time we got a black hole.
Yeah, and taking a look at this draft that's going to come up real quick. What do you think are going to be the power picks? We know what Dream Crush picked. We know what they're good at. Do you think that CFG have watched? Do you think that they'll be aware? Or do you think that the same thing will happen over again?
If I had to guess, honestly, the same thing's going to happen again. I don't know why. I just have a good feeling about that.
Maybe I lied though, because it looks like Dream Crush are adapting their picks to the map. They're looking for a high damage composition here, not just the knockback. And Imperial Simp, Luna and Fini, looking pretty flexible with both the KO midfielders.
We are going to see a Kazan ban here, though, which does negate a little bit of damage from them. But on this map, I at least consider Core Control to be king, and Kazan has been pretty dominant with that.
Yeah, Kazan, very, very far from his old KO days. He's normally the one avoiding damage nowadays, in a sense, as it'll be Zentaro and Drakkar the pick for Dream Crush. They are all inning on that midfield KO potential yet again. On the other side, CFG, they're looking pretty core control-y, right?
Honestly, any team with a Erasmus is almost automatically going to be a core control unless it's IMEZAB. But seeing this is Atlas Lab, it's a safe bet they're going to go core control based this game, and the Estelle pick kind of guarantees that.
Yeah, it's not like they can't KO, but their focus is definitely on getting that score, on getting past Mean Goat. If they could do so fast enough, I think CFG will have a good time. But Dream Crush will once again be looking to crush those dreams as we head in. What are your thoughts on the starting awakenings?
I haven't actually seen them yet. Give me 1 second. Team play in perfect form. Both very dominant awakenings for the right people. Zentaro having perfect form is always a strong pick. And of course, team play on anyone's going to be a good pick, especially in a core control team like Estelle and Mako.
Yeah, they're going to be rocketing the core forwards, but Mythic is going to have so many cooldowns to play with. But we're kind of seeing the fact that anyone could be really a KO comp, right? If you hit your abilities, if you keep the pressure up. Because Imperial Simp was the one who was low for a while, but they do manage to convert a little bit. They do manage to send the core forward. The team player already being activated quite a bit, looking like a bit of a cannon as it sends the core flying towards the barrier. And Katastic has been staggered for so long now.
Katastic, though, being staggered does mean they can't actually do much for aggression and forward play. And I think that's kind of what Mean Goat and Imperial Simp and all of them want to go for. Denying Katastic that playing, that forward press, that core control, everything.
Right now, they're trying to score, but Moonlit Owl is keeping it locked down. Finally, a follow from Mythic Actuary, a flip by Mythic Actuary, but incredible defense by Razuk, and Moonlit Owl will keep it away. The core speed's getting a little crazy with the team player, and Mean Goat loses control for just a moment. It flies forward to the other side of the map. Katastic tries to line up a pendulum swing, but this team player starts getting a little crazy. Top side drifting to the bottom, trying to find a bounce off the center is Razuk as Katastic sends it forward, but the pendulum swing's not in time, and it bounces to the bottom side once more, and it'll be Razuk who will secure the point. And if it's like that for every overtime, I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, honestly, between the team player and the speed and the overtime speed, this is going to be a pretty hectic game if it does manage to get into overtime. Especially when you have players like Razuk and Katastic just trying to control that core. And that speed may actually cause them to have a hard time with that.
Yeah, it's so tough. I think Mean Goat's going to have a harder time compared to Moonlit Owl in a sense as well, right? Because that Mako goalie has a lot of big abilities to block the fast core, but the Kai has to be very precise, has to be in position. But speaking of the fast core, there's the flip, and Razuk's blink will miss just a little bit and give Dream Crush a chance in the midfield.
I actually want to say the opposite about what you said. I think Mean Goat has an easier time with it, given the fact that Kai can just cover a wide area with it, and that has to cover the speed, assuming the core does not go through the primary, whereas Mako usually is very base around her.
Oh, I think you're right. We're seeing it right there. The core drifts up to the top side, and Mako not having an ability to cover it, doesn't have the range to cover it, doesn't have the speed to cover it, and Dream Crush will even up the game.
On top of that, Mingo does have the speed where Mako is actually stuffers when it comes to speed. So that actually may make a difference if we keep doing it overtime.
Alright, tough spot here, but Moonlit Owl will clear it away. Top side, trying to find the Crystal Thorns is Razuk, unable to find them all the way, and a good Giga, but it's actually Katastic who wins the resulting strike war. A missed strike, Moonlit Owl, not quite enough. An amazing passive strike, the slashing strike from Mythic Actuary will snipe it through and find an early goal.
I'm actually kind of surprised that even went in. When I saw it hit the corner, I thought it was not going to go in. Moonlit was going to catch it, but as we saw, that wasn't the case.
Tough situation for CFG after that one. Trying to find some presence, but it's Razuk who's being slowed down by the Molten Bolt. A passing play to the other side, and Mean Goat is having a very good time against this Rasmus, right? Usually when you see goalies at this level, Rasmus kind of eats them alive. The scoring potential has been really developed in terms of like the Rasmus fundamentals, in terms of setting up for the pendulum swing, but Mean Goat is not letting Katastic set up too much.
Yeah, like Mythic and Imperial Simp actually are keeping Katastic at bay, so they can't really get that dominating Rasmus playstyle going. It's honestly just coming down to whether or not they can kill Rasmus in time.
And Mythic finds a strike war versus Razuk in the midfield, and once again, what you said comes true. It's the Mako unable to cover too much of the goal, unable to cover enough of the open goal, and as we head into draft, it is Dream Crush who are looking good.
All three Size Awakenings are here, so chances are one's going to go to at least one of the team. And I wanted to say it's going to be Katastic to pick up one of the Size Awakenings. And of course, Explosive Interest does go to Zentaro, and that's always a solid pick for him.
Yeah, that Explosive Interest is going to be huge, but I'm scared of the Hotshot, right? Core speed is a constant since we're featuring quite the team player game, and that Hotshot's going to add to it even more.
And if the points do end up going to overtime, that Hotshot is going to add to that speed exponentially. And that already fast score is going to be even faster, assuming Razuk can even hit it.
Some fast score coming out already, taking two barriers. Moonlit Owl can't quite get the clear. Tough spot now. Katastic trying to send it around everybody. One barrier found, but a good strike war by Imperial Simp will send it away from the bottom corner. And Imperial Simp rushing forward with the Xeno Cloak. Finds a good shot into the bottom side, and Imperial Simp's winning all of the midfield strike wars, it feels like.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job with that. But I also want to point out that Mythic actually covered the top side too, just in case Mako did catch it, cutting off that passing play potential. Honestly, Mythic and Imperial Simp are coordinating so well despite just doing their own thing. They always have each other's backs, and they always know where they need to be at any time, it feels like.
Yeah, now Mingo in a tough spot, but once again, really good strike timing, striking very early against the Rasmus, which is so good when the Rasmus wants to set up on you. Mingo's looking very good on the defense, very comfortable, which is so important in a high-pressure situation like a team player starts. Katastic trying to push forward, but Mythic is keeping the core locked down in the face of Moonlit Owl, and Imperial Simp is once again pressuring. Mingo layered strikes Mythic, a sad boy's angle around the barrier. Moonlit Owl is going to be happy about that one, an amazing save, but eventually the barrier will go down and the follow-up will be there for Dream Crush.
Yes, and as we saw with the draft picks, Moonlit Owl did not get any of the Size Awakening, I feel like. And that may actually end up coming back and biting them if they cannot defend against the aggression from Imperial Simp and Mythic. Just not having that size just being a huge hindrance to Mako.
Right, Mythic's winning a strike war again in the midfield, but this time not punished with a barrier, but finds a follow-up with the slashing strike. Katastic trying to hook the core. That would have been a goal, but it's just a tiny bit wide. But they focus too hard. They tunnel vision on the KO. All three members of Dream Crush caught a little bit lacking as Razuk snipes it in.
Yeah, this is a sad, sad moment to watch. They thought they had it, but the black hole came up and popped right in. And that's never something you want to see, especially whenever you're trying to go for a kill.
Still, it is the lead for Dream Crush. They're still trying to find an advantage here, but it is actually Mean Goat who is critically low, forced away from the barrier. That will be taken by Katastic, pushing forward, and this time the Rasmus offense will come through. CFG even it up.
We saw that with Katastic, that that aggression can be done by them. Even though Mean Goat, Imperial Simp, and Mythic actually have the damage output, Rasmus can still just out quite a bit himself and actually put pressure on Mean Goat, forcing him to actually not be able to defend as well as he wants to.
Oh, and right there, a great pendulum swing, trying to finish it off with the whiplash. Not quite enough. The hook also body blocked And now it is Mythic Actuary and Imperial Sims time to shine. They need to find something here. Top side it goes. Burns a flip from Moonlit Owl, but a great clear to the bottom side. And now Katastic looking, but an amazing strike roar by Mean Goat. But it's not enough as Razuk follows up as well. The hot shot, piercing shot, and CFG tie it up.
Even without hot shot, that was still a powerful hit right there from Razuk. And that point may have guaranteed them first pick. But they also may have had a prior. Prize Fighter, Peak Performance, Chrono Boost, Twin Drive, all very solid picks for these characters.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. Chrono Boost, though, going to be pretty good for Mythic, right? Going to be able to rush into the play quite a bit, but it's kind of rough that Mean Goat's not getting it either. But Stacks on Stacks is a great pick regardless. And with triple speed pickups on the side of Dream Crush, they might be able to turn it around in the core control department here.
The big pick, in my opinion, though, is Katastic picking up Stagger Swagger. They've been taking a lot of damage output, but that kind of negates a lot of it. So we're going to see if they can make use of that, especially with that speed later on. This might have been the best pick for Katastic they could have asked for.
But it's actually just, it's just the Ensnare Drums. Moonlit Owl, Ensnare Drums alone finds the KO. And the Drakkar is gone. Katastic's pushing forward, and that Rasmus starting to become a little bit supersized, right? That is a Demolitionist on that Rasmus, and that's going to be a little scary.
Katastic's going for a late game build, and honestly, even go for a late game build, they're already dominating with just the 2 items as is.
Find the goal here, finding a first point. CFG looking to turn it around quite quickly, as Dream Crush looked so good early, but now they just can't find the footing as Moonlit Owl is stepping it up on the defense as well.
Dream Crush really needs to maybe shake up their playstyle at this point, because it's going for the kill. Going for the kill on Katastic may not be in the cause anymore at this point.
I might have cursed and you might have cursed with we're the caster cursor duo a little bit here as I praise Moonlit Owl. Both barriers fall. You talk about the playstyle changing, and immediately Mythic gets pendulum swinged off the map, it looks like. They still have an open net on the other side though, and a flip will send it away for the moment. Well played by Moonlit Owl to send it away at a perpendicular angle, not getting caught out by the Zentaro primary like we saw before in this tournament. But this time Mythic lines it up perfectly. Tough defense from Moonlit Owl as Dream Crush even up the set.
Even though Dream Crush got that point, it felt so much like it was in Katastic's hands. Honestly, based on what I'm seeing, if Katastic gets control of the core, they're going to be dominating this game. But they got to get it to it first. And that's where Razuk and Moonlit Owl should hopefully come into play here.
And there's a reason why Rasmus is the character of choice for a lot of solo queue demons. You do have a lot of agency, and if you play well, if you punish the opposing goalie very well, then you can be the one to solo win the game. Tough spot here for Moonlit Owl, but a good Ensnare Drums will block away the flip. 2 flips wasted by Dream Crush. They're in a really bad spot here.
Mythic actually almost killed himself if you saw that. Dashed right into the black hole, but Katastic does actually manage to pick him off. And score at the same time. A huge play by them.
Really, really huge. And now they're in so much trouble. No energy. 2 flips on the other side. CFG could just snowball at this point.
CFG definitely has the snowball power right here. And just having the 2 core flips where the other side has none, that could be a game changer in and of itself.
Trying to find a little bit of a play here. Oh, but that Giga Blast. Oh no, that would have been a kill if it wasn't for that Giga Blast. A little bit of anti-synergy and a little bit of a missed strike, missed movement coming out from the side of Dream Crush. CFG are well and truly in control of this game.
100% they are. Like I said, having those 2 awakenings just make Katastic start snowballing so early on. And having a Catalyst start right here may be what they want.
Kato is so good in terms of that energy buildup. And Katastic will be able to flip so much more often. Missile Prop feels like a bit of a consolation prize in comparison. Of course, a little bit more reach on Mean Goat, but it's all about the speed and the flips and the core speed this game.
Drakkar picking up Rapid Fire is actually pretty dang big for him. However, Razuk picking up Prime Time and Moonlit Owl picking up Extra Special, both very, very much what they want for their characters. Moonlit having the extra defensive power and Razuk having the extra core control power. Both of those to me that's to be so dominating if they can manage to make use of them.
Really scary spot here now for Moonlit Owl, though, as Mythic and Imperial Simp are trying to push it through, but it's instead cleared away. A missed strike now, and CFG immediately push for their lead. Find the core through many times, finding a bounce off the center, looking to line up the piercing shot. Good defense by Dream Crush to hold it down for a moment, but Katastic so large, so ready to win that strike war as CFG now 2 goals away from qualifying.
I actually want to point out something that Mythic did. They were doing a fantastic job denying Katastic the pass from Mizzuk. Mizzuk could not manage to get up to them to get the point in. But they did eventually, but it actually made it a lot harder for them.
Fantastic brought low now, but that Stagger Swagger putting in work and Orb pickup as well as the Rasmus heals back to full. The KO not really working out as a game plan as the flip goes wide. It ends up taking a barrier on the other side, but a good strike will take 2. And maybe it's time for Dream Crush to come back online, but Katastic looking so well played on that bottom side, finding the barrier, looking for the goal here. The core set up, looking for a pass to Razuk perhaps, but this Estelle is incredibly low, needs to be careful. And this Ensnare Drums will only halt them for a little bit, but just a hook from the other side, enough core speed to send it in without another touch.
Razuk's actually positioning was so spot on, not giving any opportunity for Imperial Simp or Mythic Actuary to actually find the kill there.
Really good positioning, and all they need is one more point now. CFG looking to make a bit of a comeback after they did not look too good in the early parts of this game. They're looking dominant in the later parts as Katastic almost has a flip, but that's a KO found. Wait a second, Dream Crush might have it in them to make a comeback.
That actually may have been the game changer for CLG. Sorry.
It was almost a game changer for Dream Crush, but that barrier going down halts the power play, puts them in a lot of trouble, and it is CFG who are the ones who find the power play. Now it is the pendulum swing, not even necessary for CFG as they close out the game in a very clean fashion and move on to the finale.
Being with Zook, just getting rid of the Drakar and Katastic finding that hook, that was actually well played by both of them. Moonlit Owl did have a hard time actually defending against the locks, but Razuk actually managed to help him out quite a bit and actually managed to give him just enough of a defensive power play to make it not matter in the long run.
Yeah, and with that, that's the 2 winner qualifiers done, but there's still one more. There's one last game of this OSAS regular season. It is the last chance. It is the losers qualifier coming to you next, so don't go anywhere, and well, see you soon. Hello everyone, and we're heading right into game because it is Inky Splash Zone to determine who makes it into the OSAS finale. It's Dream Crush versus Cutie Patooties. And Eos, what are your opinions on this wonderful map?
Oh, when it comes to Inky Splash Zone, anything can happen. One team's dominating can lead to a point very easily with that water jet. And if you're playing this map, you know how dominating that thing can be in the right hands.
Well, it looks like the team that picked it was Cutie Patooties, actually. They are ready to rumble on Inkies, and I think both teams pretty aware of what goalies you want to pick on this map. Either you pick a goalie that just helps take the barrier instantly, or you pick a lockdown goalie to keep it up for as long as possible. Because as soon as your barrier goes down, you're cooked.
That duper pick on Cutie Patooties, though, it may be a lockdown goalie playstyle, so they may try and just go for the X aggressiveness and the duper defensiveness.
Well,
Although the Army pick may also be an aggressive goalie pick.
yeah, it is probably the Duba goalie, but what if, you know? Like, it would be crazy, but okay, well, it is no longer crazy. We are serious.
To no one's surprise, it is a duper pick for goalie.
Yeah, well, how are the Awakenings looking?
Spark start again on everyone for the Imperial Sim. For Dream Quest. All three of them picked the Spark of Focus.
Yeah.
And the 1-2 punch is actually not picked up by Ultra Dre though, which is kind of surprising in my opinion.
It is 2 1-2 punches on the side of Cutie Patooties. A little bit awkward, a little bit of core speed potentially though. Actually, on the dribble, that could definitely be a factor, especially sending it flying across the map on Inkies. But so far, it's a pretty slow game, and no team finding a big opening. Even Ultra Dre's big strike or win is still defended away by Mean Goat, and a good log will defend it away from the pendulum swing of Mythic Actuary. The Dream Crush holding on for the moment, but the Tofu Fortress will rocket the core away.
I have never seen a Inky Splash Zone game be this slow, but honestly, this shows how good both sides are for defending against that lock.
Yeah, they're
Because as you know, one lock point can mean the game-winning point right there.
They're looking pretty stable, but it's Mythic who breaks the ice first. Finds a pendulum swing. Shot to the top side. Imperial Sim does it twice. The no mix-up as Dream Crush find the first goal here.
Imperial Sim finding that top corner, though, against Duba was such a wonderful place shot. It's not easy getting past Duba when he's already in that corner, too, but Imperial Sim did actually find that point.
Pendulum swing coming out once again from Mythic Actuary. A lot of energy built up for this Rasmus, and this is one of the maps where flipping for a barrier is perfectly acceptable. Really opens up the map, really puts your team in the advantage. Dogito's also working on a flip as well. Has it at this point, but uses it defensively, which is a little bit tough, and Mythic unable to find the barrier that time as the core flies back to the side of Cutie Patooties, and Mythic now will flip for the barrier and open up the map.
Mythic actually finding that lock right there was such a huge play, but unfortunately Mean Goat preemptively hit this water sprout. And that may actually kill their forward pressure if they don't manage to make use of it soon.
Oh, but in
But
the
it
end,
didn't matter.
yeah, it's this layered pressure from Imperial Simp, who does secure it with the Crystal Thorns. 2-0 now. Dream Crush, they're looking really good on this map, even though Cutie Patooties were the one who picked it.
Ultra J having that core flip though, if they can manage to make it actually find that unlock, they can turn this around just as easily as they lost it.
Oh, they go past the flip. Ultra Dre on the follow-up on the late strike actually gets it done, but Imperial Simp will also get it done. Flip available, blocked away though by a simple strike, and once again Imperial Simp, good strike placement to find the goal. Dream Crush's offense is looking very good as they win the first set, and they move on to draft with the Mythic Actuary in first pick.
Mythic being first pick though could be huge. And we do see some good awakenings like Hot Shot, Egoist, Deadeye. A lot of things that can make Rasmus so dominating if he's allowed to pick him.
Might go for the speed here and does go for the stacks on stacks, especially with how long that first point was. Looks like a good pick, and that hot shot on the Estelle is so scary to the point where I think we can call it for this draft. I think Dream Crush have a big advantage after this one.
Dream Crush picking up the Hot Shot and Estelle. We saw how well that actually worked out for the other team last time. And hey, it may end up happening just the same again here. Imperial had to go against them last time, but this time Imperial wants to be the one doing it.
You can't beat them, join them, and that's what Imperial Simp is on right now. Trying to find a strike through, saved away by the Dubu for the moment as the Tofu Fortress comes out. Ultra Dre trying to find some presence, but X on a map as massive as this one is going to have a really hard time finding any consistent offense.
Unfortunately, though, I'm noticing that Dr. Dre is having a hard time actually keeping up. Ultra Dre not having the speed they need is actually kind of hindering them, I feel like. They're not able to make much of an impact in this game. At least not yet.
It's kind of feeling like a bit of an Oni's Village X-Pick type of deal here, where Ultra Dre, it looks good when it's really good, like when the X is on top of the goalie, Ultra Dre is getting it done. But the majority of the time, they're just hitting around this immobile X. What can he do?
Ultra Dre almost died there, though, trying to get that headbutt in. But thankfully, they actually managed to get the orb, and that may have just saved them.
Staying alive a little bit here, trying to find a fast core to team player, of course. One of the strengths of the side of the Cutie Patooties as the accelerating core finds its way to the other side of the map. Now the water cannon available, the team player rocketing through, but Mythic Actuary pulls the core away, and now the water cannon activated. Perhaps a great defensive dribble by Imperial Simp. The water cannon to the bottom side. Mythic Actuary can't quite score as now Ultra Dre sniped away by Mean Goat on the defense, but Ultra Dre goes in, not quite catching the core there, and somehow Dream Crush keep it alive, but don't release the secondary in time. Cutie Patooties use the core speed to their advantage to take this point.
Even though Dogito's got the point, it feels like Ultra Dre was really hoping to get that headbutt, would have actually sent the core in without using core flip. Using core flip might have been the smarter play here, but the trade-off is they do have for this points.
A lot of damage though. Ultra Dre in trouble, taken out, but the team players looks to be still active. Imperial Simp, a slow play, trying to find the late strike, not quite enough, as Dogitos is pushing forward with no meter, but a lot of damage onto Imperial Simp. It's actually Mythic Actuary finding the quick barrier now. Kazinki's Splash Zone, you gotta watch out for the snowball offense.
Cohen not actually stopping that core there. That was rough. They barely missed it by an inch, and that may have just been, Torin dying is huge for Imperial Simp right there.
Yeah, energy reset, goal found, game evened up in this set. And Imperial Simp, once again with that hot shot, has such a presence in the midfield. You always got to be aware of it. But right now, it's a bit of awkward offense for Dream Crush, as they can't quite get it past. Imperial Simp, though, blinks in, catches the Dubu off guard. Torin unable to make the defense, and now in a lot of trouble, taken out. And the core will slowly drift in afterwards. Another goalie KO by Imperial Simp.
Imperial Simp finding that kill twice is huge for Dream Crush. That's the kind of points they need to get. Just funnel that XP into Imperial Simp, and hopefully that will actually be a first pick draft if they can manage to get the last pick right here, last point.
Oh, but once again, like this Rasmus and Stealth forward duo on this open map is really showing to be so powerful. And I think the character draft from Cutie Patooties is coming back to bite them, because this X just can't do enough in the midfield. The Mythic Actuary, on the other hand, is solo scoring versus 2, securing the set, and Dream Crush are up once again in the draft.
Dogitos is trying their best to try and just cover those wide areas. And Ultra Dre is trying to kill Imperial Simp, but at the end, it didn't actually happen the way they were hoping for.
Taking a look at the draft now, what picks do you think will be the biggest ones? Missile Prop, I really like that. It's not the best Awakening for Estelle in this draft, but taking it away from the Dubu is really huge, and of course guaranteeing a size for the Rasmus as well, with those 2 size Awakenings available in this draft.
As being picked up on Dubu is actually way bigger than one might think. Considering how many times they died last set, just getting that extra energy gain could actually mean that he gets the core flip way earlier. But what also actually surprises me, though, is that the Spark of Strength actually lasted as long as it did, going to Mako instead.
Mingo doing a little bit of scaling, getting that power, but most importantly, getting that extra cooldown reduction with that pick. Needs to be careful, though, gets KO'd, and that's the real annoying feature of Inkies. Forget about the water cannon. That's a reasonable gimmick, but being KO'd on the wall like that, that is what makes Inkies so tough for goalies, and we saw it right there.
And it was instantaneous, too. The moment they unlocked that gate, that water spout came out, and Mingo had no time to react to that.
Yeah, Dogitos with the cyber swipe, getting a KO on that water spout wall, and it's just so tough to deal with in that moment. Although Ultra Dre pushing forward, finds a follow-up with Darkitos, and maybe the offense has come online with the extra size on Ultra Dre.
Extra size is what Ultra Dre needs to get, but if he still can't cast up to his opponents, it won't be as effective as it could have been. But thankfully, his size does mean he finds the bottom corner with the extra hit range.
Yeah, find the goal. Looking very clean. Stationed in the middle of the map for those shots to top or bottom. And 2-0 up are Cutie Patooties now, looking to turn this game around. Cutie Patooties are a team that's been in this OSAS weekly, especially this season, for a while, but they haven't quite made it all the way to the end. Now is their absolute last chance to do so, but Mythic Actuary is looking like a bit of a demon here, looking to find the strike, unable to do so this time. Imperial Simp going forward, but incredibly low, almost KO'd, in a lot of trouble, and Ultra Dre will finish it off with the X Maximus.
That kill on Estelle is what Ultra Dre needed to get back in this game. And the kill as well on Mythic Actuary is phenomenal. That just gave him a lot of XP.
Oh, but Mean Goat interrupts the play. Dubu pushes up a little bit too much to the top side, leaving a hole in the midfield. And Mean Goat will save Dream Crush in this set, give them another chance to win it here without going to another draft.
A 1v3 core flip point is what Mean Goat needed to come back. That was the one saving grace they had, and they played it perfectly.
Oh, but that one was a little bit tough, overextended to the top side, but it's actually Mythic Actuary pushing forward. Imperial Sim can't find the core afterwards, but Ultra Dre is not in a position to find the immediate goal as well. A bounce forward, Imperial Simp now, top side, read by Torrent to the other side of the map, but Dogito's now setting up a blink. Imperial Simp with the own goal. Mean Goat had the save. Oh no, a defensive mishap from Dream Crush.
It's always sad to see that happen. And Ultra Dre getting first pick here is huge. This may be the draft he needs to come back.
Yeah, so much speed available on the board, right? Fighter Flight could be the big pickup. Spark of Agility even could be an option here, and it is indeed that Spark being taken. Extra special though, denied from the IME, and being taken by Mean Goat does mean a lot more uptime on the Ensnared drums. That Fighter Flight again. It's a lot of speed being picked up for Cutie Patooties.
Spark of Agility being picked up by Ultra Dre though is even bigger than we may think, because at the same time, it denies Mean Goat the third spark. That scaling they need, everything, it denies them. And Ultra Dre only benefits from it. He gets faster, and they don't get the bigger stack.
Yeah, and faster and more cooldowns. Ultra Dre looking very scary now, as Darkitos as well will have a lot more mobility to play with. That's the X Maximus strike reset with the additional size from the build different. Ultra Dre finding the offense, finding the payoff, and Darkitos will KO the goalie in the process. Cutie Patooties might have a comeback on their hands.
Oh, 100% they might. Ultra Dre just utilizing that water spout to KO both Mean Goat and score is such a good play. And like I said, that one pickup may be what he needed to come back into this game.
It's looking like Ultra Dre from Bite Breakers here, the Luna Goat. As once again, they're pushing forward. Ultra Dre found low, but it's Darkitos with the follow-up, forcing an awkward strike by Mean Goat as they secure the goal.
I may be mistaken, but I felt like Mythic and Imperial Simp were trying to kill Ultra Dre and deny him that, and at the same time ignoring Darkitos' aggression with the secondary.
Mythic trying to push forward, trying to solo play here, but Darkitos with the follow-up will take the barrier early once again. Tough spot for a Mean Goat as the water cannon blocks off so much of the map. Ultra Dre pulled away from the play as Dream Crush will defend it for the moment. Darkitos taking so much damage, but Ultra Dre has flip available, and it is looking so dire for Dream Crush as the flip KO on the wall. Another power play comes out, and the goal will eventually be found with a shot to the top side. The Cutie Patooties have brought it all the way back to the fifth set.
I cannot believe how well Ultra Dre has come back in this game. The aggression from him and Darkitos denied Mako everything they wanted in order to defend against that point.
Spark of Resilience available, but there's so many other powerful picks, right? Spark denied away. And this is such a scary draft for Dream Crush.
Unfortunately, though, IME does also mean that Ultra Dre does not get hit this spark, but between letting Mako have it, I think it's a fair pickup. The other one I'm looking at, though, is Thomas Creed on Dubu. Being a lockdown goalie, having a bigger size and a longer duration of his skills means that he will be able to defend that lock even stronger than before.
Oh no, Mean Goat a little bit too far up, and despite the KO being found onto Ultra Dre, it's all Doggitos with the follow-up. Losing that barrier like that is so bad on Inkies, and Cutie Patooties capitalize despite losing a member.
Cutie Patooties has the momentum, and they came back strong because of it. This might be what they need to actually just keep going. Just keep that momentum going in their favor.
Trying to push forward here. Doggitos with the Cyber Swipe follow-up. I think the game really turned around right when they managed to survive long enough to scale. Because in the early sets, this X looked absolutely useless. It was absolutely useless. But in set 5, Ultra Dre is looking like a different character entirely.
Ultra Dre has made my opinion of him go almost on a 180. But honestly, it's also Doggitos just juggling that core beautifully and using the secondary to secure it in. They are working phenomenally together, and it's honestly quite inspiring for me at least.
Yeah, all they need is one more goal to complete the reverse sweep all the way from the brink of defeat here. But it is still a goal that must be found as Ultra Dre pushes forward, but no dice. Still a big opportunity as Dream Crush do have a great composition for an open map like this. They're looking to pressure the top side. They have the water cannon, but a good flip by Doggitos. No, a little bit early. A ton of cooldowns burned now. Still defended away for the moment as Imperial Sim blinks it in. And don't forget, Dream Crush is still just 2 goals away from winning the game themselves.
Even though Dream Crush is down 1 point, as you said, they can still come back and win the double points right here. And honestly, with Ultra Dre having core flip, it might actually be in their favor now. And that kill just further cements that aggression they have.
There's the core flip. Trying to find a little more is Mythic Actuary. But it's Ultra Dre and Doggitos once again. Slip up once and they're in your face. Cutie Patooties will make the comeback of a season. And they will finally make it into the finale.
I have no idea who Ultra Dre is for this match. And honestly, I'm a fan of them now.
Okay.
They made me do a 180, as I said, on my opinion on them. And I'm a fan of them now. I really am.
Well, if you're an Ultra Dre fan, you better watch the Bite Breakers VODs, because in the only Bite Breakers tournament of all time, Ultra Dre popped off in top 8.
Oh, they were in top 8?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know I'm watching soon after this then.
Yeah, they were the only ones who made Luna work, which is kind of crazy.
I don't know about you, but I think they actually said Luna was bottom tier in that game. So him making Luna work is a feat in and of itself, especially for top 8s.
Yeah, and not just that, but making it to top cut here in OSAS finale. Congratulations to Cutie Patooties for getting that last spot. Anything else you want to say, Eos?
Ultra Dre, hit me up. I'm a fan now.
Well, with that, thanks everyone for watching. And see you on Saturday for Nassel. Bye, everyone.
Have a fantastic night.